Each year in the United States, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. When the case has gone cold and police have nowhere to turn, they seek assistance from the public. This is a program dedicated to solving these cases. This is Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Every year, crimes go unsolved here in Southern California. Loved ones are left waiting. I'm Joy Benedict, and as a news reporter, I've covered countless crimes, countless homicides, and I know that sometimes the victims of these crimes are forgotten almost as quickly as the headlines fade. So tonight on Crime Stoppers Case Files, we take another look at some of the crimes still lingering unsolved in our communities. Let's get right to work. It is November 2008. It's daytime, and David Flores is walking down the street like so many of us do. He's on the corner of Cadwell and Molinar in La Puente when a car pulls up. A passenger gets out and stabs him. Here is his story.
Pues yo donde quiera me lo llevaba cuando estaba chiquito. Y luego ya pues fue creciendo, ¿verdad? Y pues lo pusimos en deportes y era muy juguetón, ¿verdad?
Growing up, he was older. I always wanted to be like him. I always looked up to him. When he had a new haircut, I would tell my mom, I want that haircut. And whatever he did, he bought new clothes, and I'd tell him, Mom, I want those clothes.
He was a great guy. He was always interested in what I was learning something new. He would always tell me if you had any problems, just let me know. He was always there when I needed help.
He was very brave. He liked doing new things, hanging around with a lot of people. He liked making friends.
He was my protector. He taught me to be brave and strong and to protect the rest of my family.
David Flores had two small children, ages 5 and 7. He lived with his mother and father, along with his 2 brothers and 4 sisters. A rather large family, which all his family cared for him very deeply. On November 15, 2008, my partner and I were called to respond to the area of Cadwell Avenue and Molinar Street in the city of La Puente in regards to a homicide investigation. When we arrived, we were advised that our victim, David Flores, who's a male Hispanic, 23 years old, was walking on Cadwell Street near Molinar. Our victim was walking eastbound on the south sidewalk of Cadwell when a vehicle, which was described as a mid-90s Toyota style pickup, dark colored, pulled alongside him. The passenger exited the vehicle and Mr. Flores began fighting with this passenger of this vehicle. Witnesses don't report hearing any words or anything between Flores and the passenger suspect. Our victim fights with the passenger for approximately 15 to 20 seconds before the driver exits, walks around the vehicle, and then also joins in the fight with Mr. Flores and seems to assist the passenger in the fight. The driver of the vehicle then took a knife and stabbed David Flores one time in the chest. Both occupants of the truck got back inside the truck and fled the scene. Mr. Flores walked approximately 1 block to Amar Road where he collapsed. A passerby on a bicycle found Mr. Flores laying on the sidewalk. He then rendered aid and placed a 911 call for help. Fire department and sheriff's deputies arrived, attempted to treat Mr. Flores, who was then transported to a local hospital where unfortunately he died as a result of his injuries.
Ese día yo me fui a trabajar temprano, ¿verdad? Y sonó el teléfono y era mi esposa. Dice, le pegaron al David.
I came out of work and I went to my house and nobody was there and it seemed weird. At 10 o'clock, I was just told that my brother passed away, and that's how I found out about this tragedy.
I'm Los Angeles County Sheriff Lee Baca. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has partnered with the LAPD and other municipal police departments throughout our county to form the Los Angeles Regional Crime Stoppers organization. Crime Stoppers is an important law enforcement tool, a proactive approach to removing dangerous criminals from our streets. Each week on this television program, we will share the facts about unsolved cases, and you will have the opportunity to submit information that may help investigators without ever having to give your name. I encourage you to provide us any information you may have. I thank you for joining us and doing your part to make our community safer.
It was on November 15, 2008, approximately 12:35 in the afternoon. David Flores was walking on Cadwell Street in the city of La Puente when two males exited a vehicle, approached David, engaged him in a fight. The witnesses were able to describe that it was somewhat of a blitz attack. Our victim was walking, the truck pulled up, the passenger jumped out. Witnesses don't report hearing any words spoken between the victim and suspects. One of the males stabbed David in the chest. The males re-entered their vehicle, fled the scene. David walked approximately a block south of Cadwell to Amar Road, where he collapsed and was found by a passerby. He was taken to a local hospital where he eventually succumbed to his injuries and died.
I can't hang out with my older brother anymore. I have no one to look up to.
Por meses no pudimos trabajar. Mi esposa se enfermó. Yo no tenía ánimos de nada también. Era una cosa que no se podía creer, ¿verdad? Que ya no estuviera con nosotros. Todavía hasta ahorita no nos resignamos. Yo no sé ni por qué razón, ¿verdad? Porque toda la gente dice, la vida sigue, tienes que seguir adelante, pero no sé, no podíamos seguir adelante.
We have witnesses that did observe the fight and the attack. A couple of the witnesses were able to give us brief descriptions of the vehicle and the suspects, but it didn't seem enough to actually make a positive ID if they were able to view any photographs. The two suspects in this case were described as male Hispanics, both roughly 25 to 30 years of age. One of the suspects was described as being approximately 5'10", 185 to 190 pounds, with his hair cut into what witnesses described as a fade-type hairstyle. He also had a mustache and a goatee. The suspect was described as wearing a black t-shirt and dark-colored jeans. The vehicle used was a dark-colored or possibly black imported type pickup truck with a camper shell. Anybody with information regarding the murder of David Flores, please call either myself, Detective Steve Blagg, or my partner, Sergeant Jeff Cochran with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Homicide Bureau. We can be reached at area code 323-890-5500. We would really like the public's help in solving David's murder, not only for his children, but for his family.
I wouldn't want another family to hurt like how we're hurting. If somebody did this once, they might do it again and hurt someone else.
If this case were to be solved, it would relieve so much pressure from our shoulders, not knowing who did it, but we want justice to be served.
So anybody with information, please contact us. You can remain anonymous. You can also contact Crime Stoppers and leave anonymous information that'll help us solve David's murder.
David Flores was strong, so strong that he walked an entire city block after being stabbed. Unfortunately, he didn't make it, and his mother deserves answers. So if you remember that day in November 2008, if you saw anything, please contact Crime Stoppers. The number is 1-800-222-TIPS. Welcome back to Crime Stoppers Case Files.
True Religion was established in 2002. It's a premium denim company. It's an aspirational brand, and our jeans are made 100% in the United States. The company started to struggle with issues of counterfeiting in 2005, and as those issues became a little bit more substantial, we then engaged in a program of training the law enforcement officials so that they could identify the product, but also just so that they were aware that there was such a thing as a counterfeit True Religion jean. There are a number of victims to the counterfeiting problem. First of all, you have the consumer who's been duped. They buy a product that they think is authentic, and then the product is fake, and maybe they know and they try and get their money back, or maybe they don't know, but suddenly they're wearing a product that doesn't fit right, it's not comfortable, it tears, the zipper breaks, and that results in a negative image on the company. You have damage to the economy, the local economy, because we're employing U.S. citizens, both at our U.S. factories and at our company, and denigration of the brand can hurt the sales and even undermine a company's sustainability. And you have then the potential loss of jobs from that perspective. When the distribution gets to the United States, you have these counterfeiters who are selling product who are not paying taxes, who are not collecting taxes, and who are not paying even their employees who are distributing the product for them. A lot of times, the individuals who are involved in selling counterfeit jeans are also involved in other crimes, such as selling drugs, or running arms, or just gang-affiliated type activity. And sometimes what law enforcement is able to do is they're able to use a counterfeit investigation as a way to issue a search warrant. And when they get in to execute that search warrant, that's when they find all sorts of other crimes being committed. It's not unusual for them to find drugs, illegal arms, and lots of cash. You have a criminal enterprise that starts at the factory level and then continues through every stage of the distribution channel. In our case, the factories are located in China, and you'll have a factory, then you'll have a trading company, then you'll have an importer, and there can be several other steps along the supply chain before it reaches the end consumer. Each one of these stages involves individuals who are breaking the law, who are not paying taxes, who are not reporting their sales, who are possibly engaged in slave labor, forced labor, child labor.
Everybody's looking for a bargain, and so if you see something that's a knockoff, you say to yourself, well, that's probably not the real thing, so what harm does it do? But in many occasions, that entrepreneur, that person, you want to put a few bucks in their pocket and buy a knockoff, maybe tied to either organized crime or maybe tied to a group that supports taking some of those dollars and shipping it either directly to a terrorist organization or supporting terrorist activity. So we shouldn't contribute to that.
I think what some of the internet consumers need to be aware of is that these fake sites harvest your information, and they are often responsible for identity theft. Keep in mind, they now have your address and they have your credit card number. They also have your ISP. So they have a lot of information about you. We have a situation not long ago where a woman had bought a pair of jeans and realized that they were fake and returned them and was very angry with the website. So they repaid her by using her name to register a number of domain names in China that were selling fake jeans.
A few dollars go a long way in supporting terrorist activity. And the fact that that counterfeit dealer, that black market operator, maybe a sole entrepreneur, a guy trying to make a few bucks, maybe tied to organized crime, but maybe using those dollars and siphoning some of that money and sending it either directly to one of the many terrorist organizations around the world, or to an indirect activity, perhaps to support somebody to come into the United States. So you're never be quite sure where those dollars are going. Chances are pretty good they're not going to a legitimate source.
Counterfeiting is a huge economic problem. IP infringement affects our economy, it affects our jobs, it affects the security of the country, and it is an issue that everyone should take seriously.
I mean, as appealing as it is to get a Gucci bag or a Rolex watch for 10 bucks, you gotta know better than that. It's a knockoff, and you better think twice before you do it, because you're still not sure where those dollars are going. People ought to think before they buy.
Welcome back to Crime Stoppers Case Files. Investigators also need your help tonight identifying a group of men who robbed a CVS on Slauson Avenue in Los Angeles. The surveillance video is shocking as 3 masked men ambushed the drugstore waving handguns. They tied up everyone inside before walking away with thousands of dollars. Here's Detective Clarence Williams.
On October 9th, 2011, at approximately 9:50 to 9:55 p.m., a CVS was robbed at 4501 Slauson Avenue in the city of Los Angeles. The location where the CVS store is a residential neighborhood, generally quiet. It's referred to as the View Park area of Los Angeles. The first suspect walks in, points his handgun to the security guard's head. As soon as he does that, the second suspect walks in. As he walks in, you can see him reaching into his pocket, pulling out a handgun, and begins to point it at the 2 employees and 1 customer that are left in the store. The third suspect then walks in carrying zip ties. As the third suspect enters the store, due to his size, he almost trips as he walks into the store. Once he walks in, the first suspect and the third suspect walk the security guard to the photo area where they begin to zip tie his hands, as well as the employees and the customer's hands. Once they're zip tied, they go to the registers. They take money from the registers, and they go to the back room where the safe is located, take money out of the safe. Then they come back out of the back office and leave the store out the front door, going what appears to be east on Slauson. The total loss in this robbery was over $11,000. The first suspect is a male black, approximately 6 feet, 160 pounds, wearing a dark jacket with white sleeves and dark blue pants. On the jacket, the sleeves have red lettering written on the side, and the hat that he's wearing has the letters NY on the back. He's also wearing a bandana covering his face. The second suspect is a male black wearing all black and a black ski mask with a white hooded sweatshirt underneath his jacket. The third suspect is a male black, approximately 5'9", 300 plus pounds, wearing all black. He steps into the business and has zip ties in his hands. And all 3 of the suspects were 20 to 25 years old. They wore black gloves, and they all referred to each other throughout the incident as Blood. It's unclear at this time whether they're Blood gang members or not. If anyone has any information about this robbery, please contact me, Detective Williams, at Marina Del Rey Sheriff Station at area code 310-482-6028, or you can contact Crime Stoppers, and where you can leave that information anonymously.
These 3 men terrorized this store and walked away with $11,000. If you know them, if you saw anything on that day, October 9th, 2011, please call Crime Stoppers. The number is 1-800-222-TIPS, or check out our website at lacrimestoppers.org, where you can send an anonymous text or an email. Here's another case that needs your attention. Police are trying to identify 2 men believed to be involved in a local burglary. It happened on Sunday, August 7th, 2011 at a Lomita restaurant. So take a look at these surveillance photos. Do you know these men? Police say they broke into the Sushi Delight on the PCH. Investigators say the suspect smashed the front glass door just before 11 at night. Surveillance shows them attempting to pry open the cash register at the restaurant. They were unsuccessful and left. But police believe they did the same thing at Premier Cleaners next door. A cash register and its contents were taken from the cleaners. So again, if you've seen these men, you need to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIMPS or log on to www.lacrimestoppers.org. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Crime Stoppers Case Files. Remember, we are here every week with more crimes and more families needing answers. These are your neighbors. This is your community, and you can make a difference.